I have had to deal with people who are, I don't know, I don't want this discussion, but because it's already on my table, I have to talk about it. Enzo or Andrey Santos. I don't know why this is still the case. We have all agreed that there has always have, like the way we play, everybody has to play their part. And the reason why people usually say, play this guy, and the coach decides to play this guy, is not because probably this guy is better than this guy. Sometimes it's just the tactics of the coach usually fit this guy better than the other guy. So when this guy comes in and is trying to be told, like, do this, do this, do this, do this, it doesn't work in the coach. Like, the coach sees the game from his tactics, from his perspective. It's different from the how fans usually see the game, because us, we are seeing the game from the output, like who's doing this, who's doing this, who's doing this. And sometimes I've always tried to question, to tell people who like asking me that question, that they should observe certain players. Like at times, even when Kante was here, I was telling some guys, like, just see Kante without the ball. Just try to follow Kante for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. See what he does. See how he's positioning. See how he's running. I've done the same with Thiago Silva. When people are saying like Thiago Silva doesn't even defend, like just see how he runs to space. See how he makes it easy to defend. Like how he plays is very, very different from how every other guy that we have had since him plays. Like whenever, sometimes we are just following the ball, and at times the only instance how we see the ball is when it falls into a person's foot. So when they make a mistake at that time, we are very, 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 and especially if it's a defender and it's going into a goal, or if it's a person that we think should be making that asset, should be making that throw ball, should be making that long ball, we are always judging from that perspective. It's different if you are looking at the entire pitch, like just observing each person and how he moves, how he influences the ball, how he makes others move, how he's questioning others, how he's directing others, and you might think like, okay, that's when you realize that some people are working probably extra hard. And sometimes you can check into the statistics, even go to that Man United versus Chelsea game and look who ran the most. Just right now, go and check in that Chelsea versus Man United. You see which player ran the most. And he was just not making all these runs for nothing. Just because Andrey Santos may or looks good when he catches the ball or when the ball is on his feet, doesn't mean he's so good in other areas. Doesn't mean he's covering other areas. Like, even in defending, you just don't have to tackle to look like you're defending. And that's why I've used the example of Thiago Silva. Sometimes just blocking the pathway of defenders, just blocking the pathway of those passes, of those through passes, is a part of defending. And that's what some people usually don't see in a game. And that's why sometimes you rate players who are not influencing the game as much as you rate those players who are influencing the game in the way you're not saying it. Are we getting each other? I feel like I've even lost myself trying to explain to you. Both Enzo and Santos is good. Enzo is good on certain things. Like Enzo is a very box to box midfielder. He uses a lot of his physicality. He causes a lot of. He prevents people. He makes the opposition works. He makes the opposition players work harder than how Santos usually makes the opposition players work. That's one good thing about Enzo. Like he will outrun a midfielder. He might not make those tackles like Caicedo does, but again, Andre Santos does not make those tackles that Enzo or Caicedo does. Now, when we come to the third part of the pitch, I think Santos is so good in the way he passes just those through passes or just the dips. It's like Jorginho, it's like that. Who's Oscar? He just does those things like so swift, like the Brazilian feet. But then that doesn't negate what Enzo does, because Enzo has been doing like pinpoint long balls from 2022, 2023, 2024, even right now. He has been doing long balls like just from our half to the half, like getting any winger, getting any striker. So every person has different attributes, and you can't just use the person, the attributes of this guys to rate this guy. Like you can't tell Caicedo he's not good because Andrey Santos is doing this thing, and you can't tell Andrey Santos is not good because Enzo is doing these tackles that he can't do. Everybody has their attributes, and for you to rate whether a person is good or not, you have to look at their game and whether he's influencing the game or is just doing whatever shit he's doing. So if I'm told to choose between Enzo and Andrey Santos, I'll say that right now I'll just rely on the manager. I think for that position. Not every position, for that position. But then again, there have been scenarios in the past where people have been questioning Rhys James and Malo Gusto. Some people are saying like Rhys James has to always play. Sometimes when Rhys James came with the injury and he wasn't doing some of the things that he was doing, some people even suggesting like sell Rhys James because he's injury prone, he's not doing the things he's doing, and have Malo Gusto as the first right back, because sometimes he was doing the things and then Malo Gusto starts not performing as people expected, and then it's a reversal. So we are just moving from an emotional standpoint to this one, just shifting the goalpost as they fit us. Sometimes we should accept when we are wrong. I've done it. I've done it in the past, and sometimes you'll want the manager to do it. And as fans, you should also admit it when you are wrong. And sometimes the fans are usually very, very wrong. More often, more often than everybody, because they usually point things from an emotional view. They're usually just. The thing is, I've seen Enzo as sharper from the international break. He did not go to the international break. Before the international break, I thought some games like Santos should have started because he looked better whenever he came in, and Enzo was always tired. But after the international break, we have had two games. Is it 3 games or 2 games? And all were defeats. So bad. But Enzo also looked good. Now, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like as much as the way Malo Gusto and Reece James have played can also be the way Enzo and Santos plays. Like it shouldn't be Enzo or Santos. It should be Enzo and it's not a political thing. But I'm just saying Enzo is good right now. Santos is good right now. Probably we could have a scenario where both of them are playing in the same game, the way we have had issues, scenarios where Reese was playing and Malo Gusto was playing and Cook was playing, and sometimes Cook was playing and Hart was playing, and sometimes we had Della playing and who's this one? Pedro playing, and everybody was Della por Pedro, Estevao playing and Neto playing, and George and every like there's endless possibilities. We shouldn't be at this point where we are pitting one player against one player at this position. I haven't seen Liverpool do that for Isaac versus Ekitike. Even when you know those two are direct replacements for each other. There's not been a scenario where Soboslai was being asked like, oh, if we take Soboslai now, we have to have McAllister or Gravenberch. All those three are the same. And sometimes the three play the same. Sometimes the two are just playing and it's Swiss there. And sometimes it's not Gakpo, it's Swiss playing on that side. So every game has their own what we call medicine. It's a direct translation from my one of the saying, but I'm just saying like every disease has its medicine. Like if the disease is beyond, you know which medicine we are going to with it. If the disease is malaria, we know which medicine we are going it, and we need a couple of medicines. We just don't need a single medicine to cure your STI, because you can't use your STI medicine to cure your headache. I'm just saying if you want to get well, I think that's what Chelsea is doing. It's having have these options, and then when this is the headache, you know Enzo should play. You know this game Santos should play. You know this game Caicedo has to always play. But then this game could have a Sugo if he was not injured. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, nice day and subscribe. You see here where I've just clicked this one, then it will show here subscribe, and then you click subscribe, then you put the notification button. It's not very hard, right?